Hello, my dear students. I'm Ifata Jahan, and today I'm going to discuss with you about our last part of baking ingredients and their functions. In our last two parts, we already know about wheat flours, that is our primary ingredient, types of wheat flour with the protein percentage, and we also know about the uses, that what kind of flour in which product we have to use. And in our last class, we also read about different kinds of leavening agents and their functions. Today, we'll read the other ingredients and their function that is actually very primary or very useful ingredients in baking. So, first of all, that is fat. And fat, actually, we found fat in two forms. One is solid one, another is liquid one. And in solid form means that is we found the fat which is in normal temperature, which fat is solid, that is called the solid fat or shortening. And in liquid temperature, which is liquid, sorry, in normal temperature, which is liquid, it is called the liquid or oil. And fat is very important for baking, and it actually contributes to tenderness, moistness, and a smooth mouthfeel to baked goods. And here a word that is shortening, it is a synonym of fat. So you can ask that why is called the shortening. Actually, there is a function behind it. That is, it surrounds the gluten of the dough. Okay, that is whenever we're kneading the dough with fat, fat is surround the gluten. So gluten network is cannot form, actually it cannot form properly as it needed. For example, if we use for bread the fat, then you have to use less fat as the gluten network can form properly. So as it shortens the strengths and makes it a more tender product, we called also fat as a shortening. Then it makes also product lighter with great volume. Then it alters the structure of the product so it is easier to chew and swallow. And it also helps prolong the shelf life of baked goods. That means in case of fat, it acts as shortening, that is, it shortens the gluten. So it is actually is a softer and tender product. It makes the softer and tender product with it increases the volume, and it also moistens the structure as with the oils. Okay, and it also helps to prolong the shelf life. Then our next important ingredient is eggs. Eggs, there is lots of function of eggs actually in baking product, and it's a very important ingredient in baking. That is first of all, it adds structure to baked goods. So how actually it adds structure? Air bubbles that we prepare egg white, or we beat egg white as a foam. Here it actually air bubbles unfold protein in white, allowing them to bind with each other. Okay, that means whenever you beat the egg white, air bubble incorporate in the egg white, and then it just foaming. Okay, and so it help to bind each other, and it also help in other ingredients to bind each other. Then it egg also help to texture and fluffiness, as during beating the egg white, it increases the volume. So whenever you bake the product, then this here actually just go outside from the product, and in this way that it is spongy and fluffy. The product will be spongy and fluffy. Then it keeps baked goods actually more delicate. Delicate, if you say what is delicate, delicate means actually it's looking so tasty, and it soften the product. For example, fat from yolks shorten the recipes, gluten strength, protein in the egg hold moisture in the baked goods. Okay, that means we already read in fact that fat helps to shorten the gluten, so it softens the product. So in case of egg yolk, as it contain the fat, these fat actually shorten the gluten strength, and protein, that is egg white, that hold the moisture with the air. So your product will be more delicate. Than protein in eggs also trap water. So in this way, it also helps you raising the product or leavening the product. Whenever this air and this water turns into steam or go outside of the product, then it's just take its volume and it's increase in volume. Then eggs also act as emulsifying agent. So first of all, we have to know what is emulsifier. Emulsifier means it helps to break up oil molecules into particles that are smaller enough that it can be suspended in water. So in egg, actually it contains an emulsifying agent that called the lecithin, which contain in egg yolk. Okay, lecithin in the yolk and another is albumin in the whites. Both are act as emulsifying agent. And lecithin covers oil particles to keep them from gathering together once in the water-based mixture. And it also prevent the oil from clumping back together, as emulsifier help to mix the oil particles into the water so oil cannot clumping again. Egg helps in that, and so it's called also emulsifier or act as emulsifying agent. Then eggs contribute also a good flavor, and then eggs also add color, and this color actually comes from the carotenoids, okay, that we mostly found in the fruits and vegetables. Our egg yolks also contain the carotenoid xanthophyll, okay, and these xanthophyll actually add the color in baked goods. So that is our function of eggs and fat. Then our third ingredient is salt, and salt actually has several functions in baked goods. So first of all, it modifies flavor, increase color, control the rate of yeast fermentation. As we know, if we give more salt, then yeast activity will be less, and if you use the less salt, then yeast actively work more, and it also help in enzymatic activity. With that, also salt has another function, that is strengthen the gluten. In case of fat, we read about that it shorten the gluten, but in case of salt, it actually strengthen the gluten. So how? It make it more cohesiveness and less sticky. Okay, with salt presentation, gluten actually or salt present gluten hold more water and carbon dioxide, so it helps to expand the gluten network without tearing, and thus it helps to prepare a good bread or good volume of bread or bread like materials like pizza, bread, buns. With these two functions, it also adds taste to the product. Then our next ingredient is sugar. In case of sugar, actually we mostly found this sugar as sucrose, and this sucrose available actually two kinds of plant. One is sugar cane and another is sugar beets. Two kinds of thing we get the sugar actually, and this the sugar that we found in the market mostly we get from the sugar beets. With that, we also found the canned sugar in the market. And the first and most important role of sugar is that it adds sweetness and flavor to the product. So we get sugar in two forms, that is granulated sugar, white granulated sugar or brown sugar. Without that, we also get different kinds of sugar actually in the market that is used in the baking. We'll read it in our next slides. So in case of white and brown sugar, actually what is the difference? In case of white granulated sugar, it actually gives only the sweetness. But whenever it's brown sugar, with the sweetness, it also adds flavor to the product. And sugar also helps browning by caramelization reaction. And with that, it has actually hygroscopic properties. That means it can grasp and hold the moisture. As it can hold the moisture, it helps to reduce gluten development and tenderize a baked product. And due to moisturing, holding the moisture, it also helps to softening and tendering in the product. And with that, sugar also help in leavening of the product. How? We already read about that sugar can carry or contain the moisture. So whenever whenever you prepare any product with sugar, as it holds the moisture, this water transfer or convert into steam, then it helps in leavening. With that, whenever we prepare the cream with beating it with egg white, then it also incorporated here. So this here also helps to leavening the product. And another important function is sugar also stabilize the egg foam. But how it's happened? Actually, it takes space between the air bubbles. So the foam is actually just prepare like a foamy and a strong thick materials as the sugar incorporated within the air bubbles. Then our last function is sugar also can be used as a garnish. Okay, we can also garnish with by using different varieties of sugar. That is our functions of sugar. Now we will read about types of sugar. Actually, how many types of sugar we find in the market or we use for baking. First of all, that is granulated sugar. That is very common sugar that we regularly use in our baking, in our foods, and everywhere. That is also called refined sugar. Then brown sugar, we found the brown sugar in two forms. One is light and one is dark. In case of brown sugar, actually, in brown sugars, actually with the granulated sugar, with this granulated sugar, some molasses actually added in sugars in case of brown sugar. So its color transfer into brown. Okay, and so we say that granulated brown sugar is also one kind of granulated sugar with the addition of molasses. Then powdered sugar, it is also called icing sugar and confectionery sugar. Actually, it is granulated sugar making powder form, and then it is called powder sugar. With we find the marketing icing sugar. There is another thing is added there that is called the cornstarch actually. And this cornstarch actually added to the powder sugar as it does not form any clump, because we know sugar is hygroscopic in nature. So as it is hygroscopic, whenever you just keep it for long time, it absorbs moisture and it forms the clump. And as it is a finest form, it absorbs more sugar. So some cornstarch is added with the powder sugar, and if you added it in your home, then you can check that it will be more flaky and it will not form any type of clump. And in case of baking, actually powder sugar is mostly used because it easily dissolves in water and its texture is very fine and it easily mixed with any kinds of ingredient. For example, whenever we beat butter with icing sugar, very readily it prepares the foam. But if you do the same thing with granulated sugar, it takes more time than it. Then our another kind of sugar is superfine sugar. This superfine sugar also called caster sugar. Actually, it's also a granulated sugar, but it is more less fine sugar than the powder sugar. That is, icing sugar is more finely crushed, but superfine sugar or caster sugar is not so much finely crushed. Okay, it's just broken down the granulated sugar, nothing else. Then our sending sugar is another kinds of granulated sugar, and we actually called it sending sugar because we found it different kinds of variety, different kinds of color. Actually, we get it with different kinds of color, with different kinds of varieties. For that reason, we called it the sending sugar. Then pearl sugar or nib sugar, we also say that this kind of sugar actually made of by compressing granulated sugar. Okay, by compressing the granulated sugar, we add some sugar blocks. Okay, and then we called it is a pearl sugar. It is also used for garnishing or any other purposes. So there is a link there. You can use that link for getting pictures of all types of sugar, and you can know more about the other kinds of sugar that is used in baking. Actually, I have given here mostly used sugar in baking, but without this, there are another 6 or 7 varieties of sugar also used in baking. Here is syrups, that is with the sugar. We also use syrups in our baking, and we can also say syrup is one kind of liquid sugar actually. So example of syrups like glucose corn syrup, honey, malt syrup, these different kinds of syrups also used in baking. That is some figure of your sugar. First of all, that is our sand sugar, then our caster sugar, with that it is pearl sugar, and it is the icing sugar. And then our last ingredients is actually types of ingredients, you can say. It's called the liquids. We already know that is mostly used liquid in our baking. One is water, another is liquid milk. So in case of water, actually, we know one functions of water, that water is converted to steam and then it helps to leavening. With that, water has some another functions actually. What is that? That is very important for triggering all natural chemical processes. Whenever you add water in the dough, then all the natural chemical reaction that normally happen, for example, baking soda, baking powder also react with water. With that, our gliadin and glutenin also found gluten in the help of water. That is, these kinds of reaction actually helpful, and for that we have to use water in baking. And with that, it also helps to maintain the temperature of the dough. Okay, for example, if you add the warm water in case of fish, then it helps to active that taste, and it also helps to keep the warm temperature of the dough. But in case of it's needed that you have to add lower temperature, then your dough will be, you can for example, in case of cake, you add the normal temperature water. And why? Because we prepare the batter in full temperature or in normal temperature, then the cake can be tender, or cake can be softer more if whenever we place it in the oven. And with that, we already mentioned that it hydrated protein. It's also help leavening. With that, it also a very important function, that is it contribute to moistness to the texture and improve the mouthfeel of the baked product. Our last one is milk. Actually, we use two kinds of milk in our baking. One is liquid and another is milk powder. In case of milk powder, actually it absorbs moisture, and whenever you add milk powder in your any product, at that time you will have to use less flour. That means if you use 1 cup of flour and you also add 2 tablespoons of milk powder, so at that time what you have to do, you have to reduce 2 tablespoons of flour than your 1 cup of flour. If you do it, why? Because you added another uh, kinds of solid materials, solid powder, that is milk powder, that is very hygroscopic. If you do it, your product will be more tender and more soft. And in case of liquid milk, it's also served to function, actually both functions we also say that. One is the protein in milk builds a strong dough batter that is capable of withstanding the rigors of baking. That means it holds the structure more strongly. And fatted sugar of milk also act as sweetener, and it also keep moist in the product, and it also contribute different kinds of nutritional value to our baked product. With that, it also helps in browning, and it also has a very sweet flavor or milky flavor in the product, and it also helps to the product to stay longer fresh, and it also helps to increase the shelf life of the product. Okay, as milk with the water mix also contain the fat. Okay, so that is our different kinds of ingredients in baking, and today is our last class on baking ingredients and functions. Wish you were clear about your all of the ingredients and their functions. We will discuss more in our tomorrow's class. Thank you.